Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to you sincere, hopeful, elect brothers and sisters, listen, learning, and to you brothers preaching and teaching the truth through the four corners of the earth. Right, this brother Nathan, come out of the GMS Indianapolis camp. Coming back one with a quick one through the spirit. This from the brother Arrows of Indignation 144. He always puts up good video clips, things going on, and this is about that new touch law. It says, heads up, new touch law in 31 states goes into effect June 5th. Hands on steering wheel at all times. So this is just another bullshit decree that Esau's putting out to rob. Really, it's going to be gnashed upon the poor, just the people itself. But we already know who they're going to utilize it on is you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's who they're going to really attack. All right, like I said, looking to once again take money out of the poor of our people. Those we're at the bottom as it is. Just another way to keep us in a lower state. So and I believe fines up to $450. So we're gonna get into it. Then I got an article for this as well to read into, and then get some precepts and close it out.
So I posted a video the other day about that new touch law and said that this is bad, that this is coming to more than just Pennsylvania, that once this happens, this is going to be hard to control, that this is absolutely going to be abused by the police. Well, as of this morning, look what just came out. Hands off. 31 states where drivers face touch laws, fined up to $450 if hands are in the wrong place, and it applies at red lights. So what this law is basically saying that is, if your hands aren't on the steering wheel at all times, the cop is going to be in the right to give you a ticket for a touch law, saying that you had the opportunity to be distracted because both hands, or however many hands, were not on that steering wheel. And it doesn't matter what you're going to be messing with inside of that car, whether you're driving or whether you're sitting still. If a cop sees you with your hands off of that steering wheel, he can write you a ticket for up to $450 for distracted driving. Right there. Give me some likes and comments. Have a great day, America.
Hands off. Drivers face touch law. No touching your cell phone while driving. Now, I got a problem with this. Because it says right here, 31 states where drivers face touch law fines of up to $450 if hands are in the wrong place, and it applies at red lights. And they just didn't finish the sentence. The states are Alabama, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Oregon, Rhode Island, Tennessee, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia. Now let's talk about this. So let me get this right. My hands aren't at 10 and 2, and I drive a manual, and now all of a sudden I'm in trouble because my hands aren't at 10 and 2. And a lot of people like me are one-handed drivers. I always drive with one hand. Unless I'm on a bridge or in really tight traffic, I've got one hand on the wheel. My other one's on the, edge of my seat, sitting there on the armrest. I don't drive with two hands. How many people drive with two hands all the time? So now they can use that as a reason to pull you over and possibly ticket you for cell phone use without actually seeing you just because your hands are in a suspicious location, I would find that hard to prove. But then again, a lot of times you're guilty until proven innocent. And it's supposed to be the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah, because you see the madness, and we'll get into this. Articles from the Sun, U.S. It says, can't touch this. Final days until June 5th. Touch law takes effect, and drivers face $50 fines. There's a loophole with the right device. It quotes, pull off into a parking lot on a shoulder of the road. You can put your hazards on. This says drivers have only a few days before a new law comes into effect that could cause issues for those who fall into certain bad habits while behind the wheel. Paul Miller's law is coming into play from June 5th and may result in a $50 fine for those caught with their hands in the wrong spot. The law is named after Paul Miller, a 21-year-old man who was killed in a car accident in 2010. It means drivers will be forced to break a bad habit while behind the wheel or face a fine of $50. Police gear up to educate drivers on the dangers of distracted driving under new ruling. State Trooper Gagliardi did reveal there's a loophole to the law with the right device. The law named after Paul Miller Jr., who was killed in a crash after a tractor-trailer driver reached for their phone while driving, makes it illegal to touch a cell phone or any other electronic device at any point while you are driving in a U.S. state. Speaking to CBS News, State Police Trooper Rocco Gagliardi said, no body part can maintain that phone. So it's not just holding it. I know a lot of drivers put their phone on their lap, and that's going to be illegal here in a couple weeks. You're still not allowed to pull up that device at a red light, stuck in traffic. That law is very lengthy and real specific. See, this is just opportunity just to continue nickel and diamond, U.S. citizens. But we all know this is gonna be a attack on you Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans ultimately. And then guess what? They ain't gonna be complying, and they're gonna get upset, and then that's just more room for them to access even more force and arrest people. Now we're talking about more fines and jail time and trying to bail out. Now you owe this money to the state. So then the list goes on. It says if you want to make that phone call, if you want to be on that phone, you want to play your mobile app, whatever it is, pull off into a parking lot on the shoulder of the road, you can put your hazards on. However, Gagliardi did add that drivers can have their phone mounted and are allowed to accept the call with one push of a button. But here's the thing. Think about trying to make your case when you do get pulled over for that, and you literally say you know that's literally what you did. But see, that's up to the police's discretion. No, I've seen you did that. We've seen it countless times, man. Especially for you Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans are unjustly being pulled over. Oh, your headlight was out or your tail light was out, and to come to find out that everything was operating correctly. Just to get searched or unrightfully being pulled over, which ends up leading to, you get pulled over for a traffic violation, and then all of a sudden, you don't make it home that night. Now your family's setting up funeral arrangements. All right. Well, see, this devil, man, and it's gonna get worse. All right, this is nearing getting closer to draconian measures. All right, they're gonna keep enforcing law and different things to the point where you're like, damn, I can't do anything. It says for the first year, the penalty is a written warning, but starting June 5th, 2026, it's considered a summary offense with a $50 fine, along with court costs and other fees. See? It's going to be extra. It says, indeed, the law which is coming to Pennsylvania only allows one exception, with motorists allowed to use their phones in an emergency to call law enforcement or other emergency services. It says, many residents who spoke to CBS News across the city of Pittsburgh said they agreed with the new law. Quotes, you can't see the road and your phone at the same time. Well, no. Terry Thomas added, I've almost gotten into an accident because people aren't paying attention on the road and they're on their phones. And Jack Forsyth added, it'll encourage more safety within the community and make sure everyone's being held responsible for their actions. Come on, damn man. Let me see here. But yeah, so this is, look, according to the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles, fines start at $50 but can quickly rise with the maximum fine for a third or subsequent offense within 18 months reaching $450. Commercial drivers face similar restrictions. Yep, so alright, that's it on that. Like I said, it's another way for Esau Edom to rape, rob the people, of their hard-earned money, right? But that's okay, hey, because the devil's going to be the devil. And that's what it's about. So that's why this man will be taken down. It's Isaiah 10:1. It says, woe, which means destruction, unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Yeah, now it's going to be even more grievous to even drive, to go from your work to your house, to commute, whatever you do on the road, it's gonna be harder. And then look, like your DoorDash drivers, your Uber Eats, and all your other delivery style services that require you to press use your phone. Those people are gonna be attacked, man. And here they are trying to earn a living, to the best way they can possibly. But guess what? No, that's gonna be attacked. I'll read that in LT. It says, NIV, it says, woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, right? And that's all it is, oppression. Because look, so remember, this holds true. This is Haggai 1:6. It says, ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. Right. Because especially you Negros, Latinos, Native Americans were under the curses and were already oppressed, going to our enemies for the one of all things. And then here it is, all these different laws. You gotta, it's all pay this, pay that, tax this, tax that, right? You gotta register your vehicle every year. You gotta renew your license every so often, and that all costs money. From your insurance, which is, you gotta have that by law. Always paying that, and then now you gotta worry about if your hands are on the proper way of the steering wheel. Just for you to, guess what, to pour out even more money, all right, to the point where you look, because mind you, if you're not able to pay the fines, what's gonna happen? License is gonna be suspended, all right. Let's say you're a commercial driver that needs your license to drive, right, as part of your job, or you could be a repairman of some sort. Maybe you do HVAC or electrical work, and you have to drive a company vehicle, and you lose your damn license. Guess what? You're going to lose your job, especially for commercial drivers. If you're a truck driver, guess what? You ain't going to be able to operate that vehicle. All right. So this is more ways for the devil just to keep your foot on you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right. Because we know what these laws are set up for. It's to fuck with Jake, man. Let me get one more and close it out. Let's get oh yeah, Psalms. This is Psalms chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, "Why standest thou far off, O Yahweh Bashem al Shah? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined." And see, then that's the thing too. Let's see, the wicked, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, they're the wicked. All right, they love persecuting the poor. Who's the poor? You Negros, Latinos, Native Americans. All right, so-called. All right, the children of Israel. All right, they make it a sport, and they love to destroy our people, man. Because once again, ultimately Esau wants that birthright back, which you can't get back. All right, he's even gone to the point of, guess what, pretending to be us. You know, which they do it all wrong, but they claim to be us, man. You know, but they can't be us. All right. I'm gonna jump down to verse 5. It says, "His ways are always grievous." See, like when you're writing laws like this, that you know that's gonna attack a certain community, or I don't even like you said that, a certain people, right? You know, where you can't even, you gotta worry about driving just to go to work, man. It says, "Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them." Yep. And that's the pride of Esau, the so-called white man. Because he's going to go against them, these other heathen too. You know? But ultimately, it's against you Israelites, man. And then I want to get right here, verse 8. Jump down to verse 8. It says, "He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth and waits secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth and wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net." And you've heard about certain police officers, willingly come out and say, "Hey, we go after blacks and Hispanics because we know they basically don't know the law slash, they don't have the resources to lawyer up and get the department fined. Jake gets pulled over and be making all the wrong moves and don't know their rights, quote unquote, right? Even though we know that we really ain't got no rights here. But Jake don't know nothing about nothing, so those are easy money making deals. When you pull Jake over, you pull up Esau. Now they want to talk to your supervisor. They want everything, but now that situation becomes hard. So when these cops go to try to make quota by the end of the month, because they got quotas, they got to make money for the department, So then that's when towards the end of the month, that's when they really get on it and pulling people over for every little thing. Oh, you went 2 miles over the speed limit, shit like that. Alright, so like I said, Esau is the fucking devil, the so-called white man. Alright, and it's alright because Yahweh Bashem Shai is going to repay them for all their wickedness and all the attacks they've done on the children of Israel. Alright, so with that, I pray that it's edifying to the elect. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakwadash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of great millstone.